Hi. Hello, Fightful Faithful. It's the thing we do on Tuesdays. Corey's here too. Kate usually breaks in and says stuff now.
I do. This is your NXT Sour Grabs post show for April 30th. We thank you guys so much for joining us. Get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats at humperchats.com. Please leave a thumbs up on this video so that Alex has something to smile about. We'll also invite you to subscribe to Fightful Select because OMG, Scoop City on Fightful Select. All right. Anything that you want to draft wise, Corey had you covered from the NXT side. We had a bunch of main roster scoops as well. Corey's here to give you a little bit more context to that. But before that, we do have a pun topic. And it's candy puns because there was some candy innuendos.
That feels like 100 years ago. That scene.
It
opened
does.
The show.
It does.
Four score was that segment. Wow. But we saw a lot of main roster talent come to NXT. Main roster talent that had just been drafted to other brands. So some spirited discussions will be had. But get in those super chats and humper chats if there's anything you want to talk about. Get in those candy puns if you want to get in on some candy puns. But we've got Corey Brennan, who's been killing it all week with scoops. And we're going to talk a lot about what we got on tonight's show and, of course, what happened with SmackDown and Raw in the draft, specifically the NXT call-ups, who were Kiana James, Lyra Valkyria, Baron Corbin, Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Blair Davenport, and, of course, Dijak, who looked overwhelmed with joy in his reaction video. What a hilarious piece of media that we got out of that guy. An absolute gem. But, there was reports that you had that, of course, people were concerned about NXT kind of getting picked dry with this. I think that is a reasonable concern. All of these NXT picks coming in on Monday, except for Kiana James as well. Important to note that this was very heavily pushed to the Raw side of things outside of Kiana James. But the names that got called on, I feel like make sense. Alex and I have kind of talked extensively about if you're not going to belt up Kiana James or Blair Davenport, they've probably done pretty much all that they can do in NXT and are main roster ready. Ilya was an obvious one. Carmelo was an obvious one. Baron Corbin, I don't know if it was obvious, but it certainly doesn't feel like, shock of the century type stuff. Dijak, I actually felt like was a surprise because he's been such an important and tentpole talent in NXT, but not totally surprised because that dude is going to add so much value to the main roster. But Corey, you had also reported
that if they ever have creative plans for him.
That is what is to be seen for sure. Are there plans for these incoming talent? I feel like Ilya has a pretty obvious story set up. But Dijak, just don't put him under a mask. That's all we ask for that guy. Let him cook the way he's capable of. But authentic reactions coming out of the PC is actually like my favorite part of the draft. I love seeing that. I remember one of my favorite ones that we ever got was Alexa Bliss getting called up, and she was supposed to be a heel, but she was just like sobbing with joy, which was super, super fun. So you had 6 of the 7 reported. Dijak was a fun surprise to everybody, I think, here. But any additional context that you want to give for the talent that got called up?
So a lot of people were asking me who knew and who didn't know they were going to go up. So Melo knew he was going to go up. Ilya knew he was going to go up ahead of time. Corbin knew he was going to go up ahead of time, but everyone else wasn't aware. So Dijak, Kiana, Blair, and Lyra, especially Lyra. Lyra's reaction, I think, was the purest of the lot, just absolutely sobbing, pretty much. But so that's the way it was with how it worked. Kiana James's promo package was planned in advance. They knew she was going to come up, but we didn't see as much video packages on Raw. It was more just kind of, look, this is who they are, and that's it. There wasn't a video package for them that I remember anyway. I could be misremembering. It's been a long week, but so the call-ups, I don't think they picked NXT dry per se. They definitely took out some of their biggest hitters, leaves some kind of high and dry in both main event scenes, but they do have enough star potential in the mid card, I think, to make up for that. Like, they showed that a bit tonight. So with regards to the talent that didn't get drafted, Fallon Henley was one that I was told was tossed around quite a bit, but the decision was made to keep her in NXT. At the last minute was actually what I was told. It was a very last second decision for her to stay there, and then of course we saw her turn it on Thea Hale tonight. As for the rest of the family, I was told again, Tony D'Angelo and Stax, they're viewed as ready already. It's more of a case of Crucifino, or I can't pronounce his name.
Luca Crucifino.
Yeah, and
my dude, love that guy.
As for the whole faction, they just kind of want to keep them together a little while longer before bringing them up. Roxanne, a lot of people were asking me about Roxanne, and I don't see Roxanne going up till after Heatwave. Heatwave is where I would say is where Roxanne will have her NXT Swan song. I think that'll be against Julia. From everything that I've heard, that's the match that they're going with. It doesn't look like Julia is going for the North American title. There was some kind of discussion about whether she would or not, which title she'd be going for, but it does look like it will be the NXT Women's title. That's been something that they've been hinting at since they showed Julia it's on the deliver. So I'm very much looking forward to that match when it happens. I'm trying to think of anything else. Well, I had the story break today about Dijak. Even though he did get drafted, he has not agreed a new deal with WWE yet. WWE have not reached out to him. Both sides do believe that they will reach a deal, though. It's just the fact that there no negotiations have started yet and no deal has been made yet.
That is one that I can't imagine they won't do everything they can to lock that guy down. He's been invaluable. He fits really, really well into the WWE ecosystem. But I don't blame any wrestling company for having an interest in that guy, so I hope he leverages it to the best of his ability. On very happy news, something that was a surprise that I was very happy to see was Wes Lee returning today. Didn't know that guy's timetable. They were talking about up to a year as possible retirement with him. I'm very, very happy to see that guy back because he added a lot to NXT when he was here. As you pointed out, kind of need some rejuvenation when you lose 7 people all at once, right? So nice to see him returning. Anything that you want to provide additional context on that, if you were able to find anything out?
Like I said in the free post, guys, and again, the free tier FIFA Select is so worth it. Even if you don't want to get the premium version, it is worth just getting the free tier. You get headlines, you get the free.
And you pay for it, but you also do,
yeah. Oh God, now I'm after losing my train of thought. It's just a case of, oh my God, I've completely lost my train of thought.
With Wesley, we're talking
Wesley,
about
thank you. Thank you. It's 3:30 in the morning, so I'll get better at doing this late at night. But Wesley, it was just a case of, even as far, he made a tweet at the start of this month, or no, it wasn't even the start of this month. It was less than 10 days ago, I believe, where he said he didn't feel like his body was completely up. And then a couple of days after that, I started to hear kind of, someone did say to me, oh, Wes is apparently close to coming back. And I was like, no way. There's no chance he's nearly ready already. So I didn't think anything of it. And then tonight he decides that he's going to show up again. Last time we saw him, he could barely walk, but now he's leaping to the ring. So a lot of people thought that he might not even ever come back to the ring. That's how serious that injury was. It was supposed to take at least a year for him to come back. So I'm not sure what happened there, what kind of futuristic medical treatments he's got that all these pro wrestlers seem to have access to. But he was welcomed back with an absolutely massive amount of love backstage, and I think that, and I know people like to say that I say a lot of positive about backstage reactions, but this was something that was this was bigger than anything that I've been told about. Everyone was so happy to see him, and just so surprised to see him, because it was kept so close to the vest. It wasn't on rundowns. It hasn't been discussed a lot with creative, and only the immediate people knew about it. So I'm just so happy to see him back, because he really was looking like he could have to retire, and that would have been such a shame. But just more than anything, I'm happy to see he's healthy.
It would have. Some outstanding work from Wesley. Also walks back into something that I think was probably maybe my highlight of the night, because it sets up something really exciting with Oba Femi. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we get out of there. But Anything else that you want to add context to, Corey? I think the draft, a huge piece of this. The stories is definitely where my concern is for sure. But anything else that you want to add?
Wendy Chu is back. She returned. She returned during Level Up. We found out earlier tonight. I completely forgot to report on it because I'm just a very good scoopster, really, guys. Really, I am. But no, she is back. She came back. She had a very, very big ovation when she came back. She actually got choked up after her match because it was just such a heartwarming reunion almost. And what else was there today? Mike Rome looks like he's coming down to NXT. Yes. From obviously tonight, Alicia Taylor did. Kate, you did point out earlier to me actually that like May 6th, we don't know. Alicia could be going to one of the top brands. I'm not sure. Doing whatever I can to find out. What else is there? I'm trying to just get all bases here.
There's a lot. That was a loaded week for sure. I think the Mike Rome news is interesting because if he and Samantha had such different styles, and I think Alicia's great, and I think she would also be a nice contrast to Samantha. So it's either Samantha's doing both shows and Mike Rome's coming back, or if she goes up, like I think you still get a nice juxtaposition on your main roster announcing styles. So I'm intrigued to see how that shakes out. But yeah, I'm assuming those changes, much like what we're getting with the draft, go into effect after May 6th.
Yeah, and I will say just to say here, because Kate was annoying me earlier about it, I have no idea what's in the envelope. None. Maybe it's a tape of Noam Dar saying Alicia.
I mean, I told him like you can't come on the show if you don't let us know what's in the envelope. You know what I mean? And then he just comes on here
really
anyway.
Professional.
And I've never claimed to be that.
We're so professional.
Not once have I claimed to be professional.
People come at me and be like, "Oh my god, how can you be not so unprofessional?" It's just totally not because
You've
of the
seen
people
our boss's Twitter account? Like, relax.
Seen anyone on Tyson's Twitter account?
It's pretty much just like Luis and Kyler are normal, and the rest of us are all unhinged.
And even Kyler's getting the fucking the bloody Legentil, or I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing, guys. And I'm going to say this now. Just stop this conspiracy theory nonsense.
They're never gonna.
It's ridiculous.
They're all Charlie Day with the board in the back from It's Always Sunny.
Witch hunting, and it's getting really nasty. And I thought I had it bad, but Kyler just said one thing the other night, and they all jumped on him like crazy, accusing him of awful things. It's awful behavior from people, and it just. I hate it so much.
It's insane, but it's also insane that you had the nerve to come on here without finding out what was in Lash Legends envelope.
Well, we'll know next week, won't we? So I might know next week. Maybe someone will leave it lying around backstage, and someone can like sneak it. Maybe I can hide in the closet again, saying I'm supposedly NXT Anonymous.
Coward. Corey, thank you so much. Is there anything else for real that you wanna leave us off on?
I'm just checking the notes I sent you earlier. Fallon's heel turn was kept a secret. She was only listed to be on Thea's side during the segment. Oh yeah, big thing tonight actually. Brian Fadem, god damn it, I can't pronounce his name properly. He supposedly is the lead NXT producer. That'll probably be coming to Select later this week. A lot of details on that I've been working up since Kevin Dunn left. But tonight he actually wasn't in charge. There was someone else in charge. I haven't been able to find out who yet, but hopefully that'll be in that article as well. But if tonight felt a bit different production wise, which I think it did, especially with the transition from Oba Femi stepping on the camera, which I have to say was probably one of my favorite shots that they've done in the new era. But yeah, that's just all I wanted to say before going. I'm gonna go to bed, guys.
Go for it.
Check it out.
Sweet dreams.
FightfulSelect.com. Corey's doing incredible scoopster work over there. Corey, thank you so much. And find out what's in the envelope or don't come back. Thank you. Alex.
Yeah.
Do you want to get the draft crankies out now, or do you want to go segment by segment? Like, should we just burst the bubble off the top?
No. Every time that something like that happens, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to do the same thing over and over again. People want me to be angry. They were not supportive of me when I tried to turn over a new leaf and not be as angry. So you wanted me angry? Well, I'm angry now. So
I was one of those people because it's my job security, and I'm it was really when you said, "Hey, that's their prerogative, man." That was weird. That was uncomfortable.
It is no longer their prerogative. I will say that much. Your dad says everything sucks. The rallying cry of the SGS. Your dad gets it.
My dad gets it.
Fans with the best mod, best commentary team, and home to the one and only JW Pringle. So that's how we get started out.
That's a beautiful way to get started out.
Mm-hmm. And JW Pringle says, Amazing Alex, Killer Kate, Papa Paul, just the best of us. Sisters, Luis, and all the SGS. The movie running after NXT is called The Long Shots. Seems like foreshadowing for the horrible booking kid. Jambeard says, shout out to Matt Kuhn for once again buying a domain name and using it for good. That's an inside joke. Tim McFall says, have to watch on delay, but here's some monies for Kalex, Luis, and most of all, Corey for carrying the load this week. Can't wait to hear the sourness. You'll hear plenty of it. Meat Norma says, here's a small sack of Kiss My Grits monies for the Bangs and Beard Gang. Also, sending love to SRS. Love and meat forever. And Jambeard says, I saw a side-by-side pic, and now I can't get over the thought of Cena should be the new Ernest P. Worrell. Also, Linda would swoon over a young Jim Varney. Hold on.
Linda would.
Hold on.
Linda so would.
Are you kidding me? I did swoon over a young Jim Varney.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I did not know there was such a tryst.
Although I did tell him to stop smoking, and if he had, maybe it wouldn't. So
that
was what did it. That was what did it, because I had to quit smoking. I smoked for 78 years, and that's why I sound like this. And I said, Jimmy, baby, you gotta quit with the cigarettes. And he's like, no, I love the cigarettes. Know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I do know what you mean, because I used to smoke. And if you would just quit, but then, of course, listen, the only way I can cope with how angry I am at NXT right now, and everything involving the draft and people who are on the main roster also being on NXT for no reason, is for me to do stupid, funny stuff. So
that's the way we go.
Yes, it is Candy's puns, because we started the show with Trick coming out and cutting his "I'm the new champion" promo. He gives props to Ilya Dragunov, and they said, but now it's the whoop that era, which like whoop that era. Don't stop whooping the era. I feel like this is a thing with the whole whoop that Trick thing has just gotten to a point where I feel like we've gotten away from recognizing that the thing that you're adding to
the direct object of it,
you are actually beating something, which means you don't like it. So if we like the era, why are we whooping it? Stop whooping the era.
There is a sentence structure issue in that the direct object is getting whooped, and you don't want this era to get whooped.
No,
but then it felt like
era. Why are we whooping it?
But you don't like the era, so maybe it should get what? Like it's very convoluted.
But I mean, if the crowd likes the era, why are we chanting for the beating of the era?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
So
I did feel like the words to Ilya Dragunov came across very sincere, which I thought was nice. Like that was very cool.
Absolutely. Like Trick does owe a lot to Ilya, because if you go back far enough, they had a whole bunch of matches against each other over a long timeline.
Yes, they did.
And Trick, you could see his progression from one match to another to another. You could see it. It's not lost on me that Ilya probably had a very big hand in that improvement, and him acknowledging that is really cool. And now we just wait for Ilya Dragunov to be nonsensically paired with Gunther, and they're just gonna forget all of it. We're just waiting for that. We're waiting.
No. We're waiting. Oh no, because Giovanni Vinci got drafted to a different.
That's right. He got drafted to a different program, so they can't do the thing that I want. So they're going to do the worst thing possible. That there are only two things: the thing that I want, which is good, and the best thing, and everything else that sucks. Kate, everybody wanted me to be sour again, so now I'm sour. Okay.
Alex, you have to be your own sour. You can't be sour just because people want you to be sour.
Right.
That's very funny, though.
I will say this: you know who I am really looking forward to being called up to the main roster is Trick Williams, because then I won't have to listen to Booker T grunt through his entire theme song, which is a good theme song. It's rare there's a good theme song in all of WWE right now. Trick's is a great theme song, and the entire time I got to hear, I like it, I got to listen to that crap through the whole song.
He also, today was particularly funny because he ran out of things to say. Because I can't remember what he said. I think he was like, new champ. And then it went really quiet.
I don't know,
He just ran out of steam. Like a robot that's dying. He just like powered down.
So he is interrupted by the Metaphor theme and Just Lash Legend. And I was like, all right, what are we doing? And she comes out fanning herself with a manila envelope, which has an address like printed on it, like somebody sent this to her in the mail. And they begin flirting very awkwardly with each other. They are a real life couple. If this is how they actually flirted with each other, I can't believe this. They ever got together.
No,
because it honestly it was kind of cringy to me. Like this whole I also think that Trick Williams fundamentally misunderstands the physics of a Reese's cup, because you want to take off this gold and get to the chocolate inside. That's a reverse. That's if the peanut butter's on the outside and the chocolate's on the inside. That's not what a Reese's cup is. Have you ever had a Reese's cup, Trick Williams? You never went trick-or-treating as a kid? Like, come on.
He's in such condition that it seems like perhaps he has not had a Reese's cup, at least in a very long time.
But did you forget that the chocolate's on the outside and the
fundamental physics of a Reese's cup is not a phrase I
You want to take this gold off me and get to the chocolate inside. The chocolate is notably on the outside of a Reese's.
And that's consistent across really all Reese's products. The trees, the fast break, like that is just a candy swing and a miss on Trick's part. I don't want to be critical like in a first promo.
They sell inverted Reese's cups. Thank you, Tom LaValle. They are an abomination and should be stricken. Like the whole point is the peanut butter's on the inside. Everything you do some kind of weird like peanut buttery flavored chocolate with like the cream of no.
That's false.
No. She says, actually, my favorite candy is Kit Kat chocolate bars. And
can we also talk about that? She looked like a Grecian goddess with this outfit.
She did.
My God.
She did. She did. So he says, well, let me break something off then. He says. So they're heavily flirting with each other, and he is basically just straight up coming on to her and saying, would you like to have sexual intercourse with me? And she is playing.
They're talking about candy. What are you talking about?
They were definitely just there. There was the veil was so thin, Kate. This is the most thinly veiled sex conversation I've ever heard.
I was trying to think of a candy that had like a very thin outer shell, but I nothing popped into mind, unfortunately.
No. Okay. So she says, "Oh, but wait, I have this envelope which has the truth in it." And then like Trick's daddy, says the whole crowd. They've already jumped one ahead, and it does feel like from what he says, does the NXT crowd know you can't get pregnant from kissing a girl? You can't kissing a girl doesn't make her pregnant? Because I mean it's wrestling fans, so they may not have actually ever been with a woman. But like, I mean,
obviously,
no, but like we saw them kiss. And from their conversation right now, it does not seem like that immediately led to something else after that 3 months ago or whatever.
We don't know.
You know what I mean?
We
So,
don't know.
but, so see, Ricardo says Trick Williams is getting that Maury Povich treatment.
It kind of felt that
not
way.
the father. You are the father, whatever. And Ryan Lambert says, so is Reese's Katie the new Blue Chew? Horned up NXT. Yeah, NXT going back to its horny roots is not something I am looking forward to. This was the horniest show on television for a while, and we got away from that, blessedly so. I don't look forward to going back.
It kind of feels like only Ilya Dragunov was keeping it in check, and now he's gone. So that is we are at risk for the horny brand again.
Yeah, no, Rally C says, I want to be honest, guys, I'm a little confused. Well, like, I don't know. She's got an envelope which she says has the truth in it, and you're going to find out next week if you agree to be on the well, I guess Noam Dar said that later. So when we say that NXT's been picked over, what we say is Trick Williams' first title program is Noam Dar, who is a dude who is very talented, but as presented on TV is a guy who literally cannot win a match unless his friends get involved. And that's the best you've got for, and he's listen, the Heritage Cup is fun. It's firmly a mid-card title. It's below the North American title.
Yes.
In the hierarchy there. Like, that's a hell of an elevation to go from Noam Dar losing the Heritage Cup to challenging for the top title. So when we say they got picked over, well, I don't know who else you'd actually use for this, but what am I saying? You could bring literally anybody down from the main roster. Anybody from the main roster can walk in NXT and get a title match, as noted by the end of the show. So, like,
I would, if the story wasn't so damn perfect, I would say Wes Lee returning should go to the world title picture, but it's too good. Wes Lee versus Oba Femi is too good. But you're right in that
you and I will differ on that point greatly, I believe, when we get to talking about it. So, yeah. So,
I'm so excited for that. But like Baron Corbin was one of those guys. Dijak was one of those guys that you could kind of heat up into that with a couple of wins.
Right.
He was feuding with Carmelo for like 85 years. So I wish they kind of thought a little bit more. Like, if he was going to be facing Noam Dar should have some big wins, right? Like, he beat Dijak last week?
No, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, right, before Spring Breakin Part 1. So that was a really big and good win. If he had like 3 more, I don't even think I would have been complaining about it. Just like quick wins, one against Briggs, one against whoever. Like, you could do just a couple wins would have been nice. The one against Dijak was great. Like, that match ruled. So
yeah, and then his friends got involved so he could win.
Yes,
which is something that I don't dismiss as easily as you do. Like that's that to me that
not that overkill for that one.
But I mean, every match that he wins is because his friends get involved, and I drastically downgrade a talent in not the talent itself, but the evaluation of whether or not I think somebody is in a good spot to get a title match.
Sure.
Over if all their, and I feel like the GMs should also do that. Now, I've been watching you picking up wins, but all your friends cheat on your behalf in order to get those wins. So I weight them much less than people who win matches on their own. And I feel like that should be just stated matter-of-factly on air. So maybe this guy would want his friends to get involved less. And that way I would have to watch less interference finishes.
Well, I appreciate that, especially as a House of Torture and Jeff Jarrett hater. And Judgment Day hater from that era, especially. Mm-hmm. But there is a part of me that's like, it's not that different than you just cheating all the time. When you do something like hold up a stupid mask, that was silly. But what frustrates me more in those is like Noam Dar is really damn good. Like, it actually annoys me that, like, you're to the same point, but with a different focus. Actively
should be
lowering
able
the
to-
ceiling of Noam Dar. Yeah.
He should be able to beat a good 75% of his opponents by himself. And the top people that he faces, he
Right.
can't. So his friends help him, which makes the people who he can't beat on his own look better, even though they lost.
Yeah.
You see how that works? It's really fun how we do math and
Alex,
things are better.
what's in the envelope?
I shudder to think. The truth is, we like it. Also, it's not as he says a videotape. It has to be photos, if anything, because it's flat. It's a piece of paper in an envelope. If it was a bulky envelope, it could be some kind of security tape or something, but it's not. Like,
do you think it's a very thin USB with all of the login information that New Japan lost?
That could be good.
That would be great if Lash
maybe,
Legend recovered the security. That would be.
Maybe it proves that Trick Williams is NXT anonymous.
Oh no, that's Corey. But
You're right. It's true.
It does feel like. I mean, I get why the crowd was chanting it. It does feel like it's asking to be an ultrasound.
Right. Yeah, it does. However, I feel like there's a step we missed. You know what I mean? Like,
but
it
maybe
feels
not
like,
in real life.
Well, that's weird though. That in kayfabe they're just flirting. They're just flirting. They're seeing what might happen. But in real life, he totally knocked her up.
Look, those candy analogies were extremely provocative.
Yeah. Well, listen, it wasn't like
Don't
she's
come
like,
up with that kind of provocative genius if you haven't been doing more than smooching.
Smooching a guy. So you know how they do this when they have these friggin' cable specials. They have to have somebody like introduce it, like we're doing something else, but awkwardly talking about the match card tonight. And tonight it was Ariana Venti and the Jeej, who are at a fancy restaurant learning about what forks you eat with, while Gigi Dolan is like, hey, this thing's happening tonight. That's going to be violent. I'm going to like this. Oh, over here and do this thing. And Ariana Venti is, but no, you don't drink water to burp. Please don't do that. And that was what this was. So how long is this going on? Because they went shopping a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that was it. Is Gigi Dolan's entire thing now just to be like walking around doing funny skits? Well, hold on. Doing unfunny skits with Ariana Venti, and she doesn't get to wrestle anymore? Because Gigi Dolan's talented. You know, like,
it feels like they're stalling on something. It feels like they're stalling on something to me. I don't know if they were flirting with the possibility of calling her up, because she definitely seems ready to go, or if she's injured or whatever. But it's weird that she's this present on TV with not wrestling, because she's been in like plenty of sketches, to your point. So I don't know. She's also engaged. Like, maybe she ran away to get married. I don't know. But it is always indicative to me that if someone is very present on the show but not in the ring,
right,
that feels like she's maybe injured or something else. But I did not love this. I do continue to think that Ariana Grace is. I don't like. This has been going on for a very long time for this My Fair Lady thing. But she's really good. Like, she definitely gets this for sure.
Yes. Okay, so she'd be really great doing this role as a manager. I don't understand why she wrestles. I don't understand why she wrestles if this is who she is as a person. Why do you wrestle? Why do you wrestle? Why are you a wrestler if why are we fighting? Stop fighting. I am a fighter. I get paid to fight for a living, but why are we fighting? Why? Because you're do you know where you are? You are in
a wrestling show.
Yeah, that's weird.
At a wrestling program. This was I think I brought this up a couple weeks ago. Like, this was always I love Mandy and Brennan so much, but my complaint with Maximum Male Models was, how does it get to the ring? They have not found a way to consistently do that with Ariana Grace. I'm wondering if this weird thing with Gigi is also part of that, because if Gigi's stalling, she's also stalling. So
mean, this feels like one of those things where Gigi starts out hating having to do this, and by the end they're a tag team, right? Like that's what it feels like. They're like a weird odd couple. I mean, but does it not feel like that's what this is? I mean, I don't know. It just.
I mean, it's got to tilt one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
There got to be a tag team, or they have to have a
Right.
blood feud.
Yeah.
But
Luis asking why isn't Toxic Attraction on the main roster, and why is Gigi doing this nonsense?
I wish I knew.
It's dumb. Okay, so Ivar, I guess, is grandfathered in because he already set up this match before the draft. But this is your first main roster dude doing shit on NXT while also being on the main roster that I'm going to point out, and I'm going to point out all of them, and I'm going to be increasingly angry about everything. This is good because it's Oba against. I mean, he fought big dudes like Briggs and Dijak, but like Ivar is a different kind of big dude. And yet this was my least favorite Oba Femi match.
Really?
Yeah, because they had to sell how big Ivar was, and so there was a lot of offense gotten. All of the offense that he got in was during the commercial break in picture-in-picture, because I watch all of Oba Femi's matches, every second of them, even in picture-in-picture. It's the only guy I will do that for, because I watch him improve. He was doing really good stuff. Listen, I hate it, but it's a thing that he's got to learn if he's going to be a big dude in WWE. He's got really good rest holds. He's real. He makes
he really does
not look like they're rest holds. He makes them look like he's actively hurting his opponent, which most dudes who play that part in a match don't. Like you're basically just hugging the guy's head. That's not a headlock. Like he makes it look like he's hurting a guy, and Ivar was selling those really well. So good, but almost all the stuff he did was during the thing. And then Ivar did a bunch of stuff to him, which he sold, but like even though he's good at selling Oba Femi, what makes Oba Femi so special is the fact that he does things to other people. And he didn't actually do a lot. Like he did some running clotheslines. It showed how fast he was. I love how he does a really high impact move that takes guys a while after they do a move to somebody else for them to get up. And he pops up. He doesn't do a kip up for like fancy points. He just gets right back up and he's ready to fight some more. That's a cool thing, but it just felt like Ivar did 100 things to him, and he did 4 things to Ivar and beat Ivar. And I feel like Ivar shouldn't be booked that way. There's a weird dichotomy of how this thing didn't feel like, and yet I just know I'm going to see this a lot. And I listen, I begged for the thing that I wanted in this position was Bronson Reed as like his final boss he had to overcome. So we basically got a version of that in Ivar, and yet it wasn't the match that I hoped it would be. Because maybe I thought it was going to be longer, or they were going to trade blows some more, just because he was Ivar in control. And also, Ivar's going to need to aim that moonsault better, because his knee just crushed the man's temple.
Yeah, that was rough.
Really do some damage to a dude who's not Oba Femi when you do that.
I agree with you that the way the match was produced could have been a little bit better, but I did like the.
It just comes down to personal preference for me. I didn't really enjoy it the way I've enjoyed other matches of Oba's.
Well, it does feel. I like the idea of Oba Femi picking on someone his own size, and I agree with you that he does a lot of things way too well for as young as he is at this. Those rest holds included, and I think it was good to see what he looks like in this context. And I think from that perspective, he did a good job fulfilling the role that he was playing in the match. So that part of it from like a wrestling criticism standpoint, test passed, of course. But I agree that like it was a little too underdoggy. And it didn't, I liked it, but I similarly think I was waiting for it to kick up into another gear. Yeah. Part of this was the match placement on the card. Like, it was just kind of funny where it was.
Weird as an opener. It's weird as an opener.
Especially as an opener after 20 minutes. Like, an opener after the Lash Legend angle and the GG thing was weird. But I do like that he picked out someone his own size in one, because I think that's an important match to have in the reign that you're building out for this newly established guy.
Right.
So I'm with you. I was kind of waiting for the heat to pick up a little bit, but I felt like it was good to see this type of match out of him, to know he can do it. But yeah, and Ivar's great. Like, he's real good.
Ivar's great, and I'm not blaming any of the talent for this.
No, of course, it's just the way it was produced. Yeah.
For this, no, but not that, even that, but like this ridiculous roster construction they've got going on with the NXT doesn't have anybody on the roster, so they're just going to poach people from the main roster and book them a certain way. Ivar's great. He's a symptom of an overall large problem that I'm going to have. It seems like forever with NXT, because this feels like this is never going to stop. So Oba wins with one pop-up powerbomb, and then he pins him, and then Wes Lee is back, which is a giant shocker, because when he said, I have to go away, he says he couldn't feel his legs 5 months ago. I'm going to say that one more time. He said, I can't feel my legs. He's standing in the ring and says, I can't feel my legs 5 months ago. And he was, we believe, like, he had just come back from doing I gotta leave. He cleaned out his locker and left with his wife. And then 5 months later, he came back and said, I want my North American title back. And he was, we think, poised to take it from Dominic Mysterio, who still had it at the time. Those were dark days. And then somehow he injured his back. We don't know exactly when. He made it through, we think, the match the prior week. Okay, the fatal 4-way thing. But then he says, I hurt my back and I got to go away. And people were saying it might be a year. He might never wrestle again. And 5 months after that, he's back again. And he says, I want my North American title back. At least he's consistent. I would say this. If you're recovering from a potentially career-ending back injury, the dude you should least pick a fight with is Oba Femi. And so I think they're probably going to do a bad version of the good thing that I booked for Javon Evans, which is gets a shot at Oba, gets creamed, figures out a way to get another shot, loses, but this time it's closer. Figures out a way to get another shot, loses, but this time by that much, figures out a way to get another shot and beats him. And that is an overarching story for both Javon Evans and Oba Femi, while Oba is beating other guys along the way, so that when you finally get time to take the title off of Oba Femi, you've been telling this story with a younger, very different kind of wrestler than Oba, so that when he wins, and a babyface we all love and grow to love even more, we're going to do that with Javon Evans, which I thought was a great way to make Javon Evans feel special and tell a great story with that young guy. It feels like we might be doing that with Wes Lee, in that he tries to get his thing back, and again, I hope, gets turned away pretty vociferously. Because the thing about Oba Femi is, it's not like, oh, great, Wes Lee's back. We hate Dominic. I really hope he gets his title back from Dominic. Everyone is on board with Oba Femi right now. It's a weird thing to do, to reintroduce Wes Lee. If you introduce Wes Lee and he says, I'm coming for you, Trick Williams, no one has a problem with that at all, because Trick just became champion. We love Trick, but we also think that Wes Lee stepping up a level makes sense. Coming back to go to the thing that like he left behind when he got injured, and we're all like, no, but I feel like most people, it may just be me, believe that Oba Femi should hold the North American title until the day he becomes North American champion, until the day he becomes Intercontinental champion, until the day he becomes world champion. He should never lose. So, like, I don't know what we're doing with, because I don't want to have to root against Wes Lee. And I also don't want to look at Oba Femi and go, and this guy he's brittle. Because back injuries don't ever go away. Back injuries are chronic, and they'll come back like that. I don't want Oba out there because Oba doesn't have a lot of matches under his belt. I don't want him out there going, I hope I don't hurt this guy, because then that's a bad match, because Oba's not, I worry this isn't going to be what you hope it is, because I can never see the good in anything.
That's not true. I've seen you do that, but it's earned. I feel like he's due to go back to this title because that's how he left. And I hope we don't get the trajectory that you had. I hope we get a competitive match where Oba Femi wins and beats a former champion. Wesley gets some wins under his belt and goes for the main belt. Like that. I hope that's what my hope. I feel like he has to walk back into this picture just because he was so volleyed in and out of it.
Right. No, yeah.
So that's my thing. If Oba Femi beats a former extremely respected and established champion, as a part of a defense, like if that's a match before Heat Wave and stuff, that's awesome. And then Wesley should get a shot at a bigger title because he should and deserves it. And I love your trajectory for Javon Evans because Wesley doesn't need it. He's beyond established with that belt and on the show. So I'm still fixated on a him and Ricochet tag team, but that's not going to happen. So I would much prefer that. I'm excited because if Wesley is close to how he was, I think just in ring that could be really fun if Oba, to your point, isn't in his head about re-injuring or whatever.
Right. Yeah, but see, I think Wesley. I think you have to bring him back to NXT because you want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And then again, though, making sure he's okay is not let's put him out there with a man who literally crushes people, who has wrestled 12 matches in his life. That's not a great way to make sure he's okay. However, I feel like Wesley should be on the short list for the next call-ups.
For sure. He's
done everything he possibly can do in NXT. He could be really fun on the main roster. That if he had been healthy this whole time, Wesley gets called up during this draft.
I think so.
If Wesley never got injured 5 months ago, he retains his North American title. He probably loses it between then and now.
Clear me Oba Femi and him, because that match should happen. Give me a him and Trick Williams feud that goes to Heat Wave. Wesley loses, Trick retains, Wesley up to the main roster. Bang.
Yeah. I do believe we are getting Oba versus Wesley at Battleground, which I guess we will hope will be good and not just hoping that his spine doesn't shatter. You know
I would imagine they'd be careful enough.
Well, that's the problem, though, that the match is going to suck. So, if they're you can't wrestle a match careful like that.
In bringing him back, his timeline is so expedited, it makes me think it was something completely different.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows?
They always lie to us about injury times. That is in half.
Yeah.
That's in half. Yeah. So that just feels like it was something entirely different.
Jambeard saying, I don't know. I know I don't watch NXT, but is Wesley the only former men's singles champ on the current NXT roster? Well, unless you count Heritage Cup. Other than that, I think that's correct.
Men's singles champ. Yeah, because Briggs and Jensen were tag champs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, yeah. That's tough. That's a tough thing. Mm-hmm. That is something every developmental brand faces. Mm-hmm. Is how do you replenish at the speed which you're getting picked at? Yeah.
Ricardo says Wesley is back. 10 out of 10 show. Also, Chelsea with 3 exclamation points, and I would change that to Chelsea with 3 question marks. But we'll get to that at the end.
Either way, it's a Panic at the Disco title. That just.
So. Thea Hale has to beg Fallon Henley to come out to the ring with her for her match with Jacy Jayne. And Thea, if I was like, no, I don't want to. Oh, please, you've been such a big help to me. You're like a big sister, and I love you so much, and you've been so nice to me. And remember last week when you ran down a whole list of everybody who loved me and reminded me that I am loved? That really meant a lot to me, and I would really love you, my best friend who will never turn on me, to be out there at ringside with me for my match against the person that I used to trust, who then turned on me. And so Thea Hale has a match with Jacy Jayne and Jazzy. We decided to call Jacy and Jazzy because Jasmine Nix is out there. She's got several different letters in her name. And she, at one point, she's going to do a spinning kick to Thea Hale on the outside. And Fallon Henley pushes Thea Hale out of the way and gets kicked herself. And her reaction to this leads me to believe that she did not think she was going to be kicked when she pushed Thea Hale out of the way. And I feel like you should know when you see a kick coming at your friend and you push them out of the way, you do that with the expectation of you yourself being kicked. And so everything that happened after this made even less sense because of that particular moment. It wasn't like Thea Hale ran to attack Jacy Jayne, and Jacy got out of the way, and Thea Hale accidentally kicked or hit Fallon Henley. Like, Fallon put herself in the position to be kicked in the face, and was very angry about
the match for Thea Hale.
Yeah.
Crucial
yeah.
to what happens next.
Yeah. Thea Hale taps out Jacy in the Kimura, and then everyone gets in the ring to congratulate Thea Hale. And then Fallon Henley gets in the ring and pulls Thea Hale back into the ring and punches her in the face and walks away. And Jacy Jayne, who had her nose bloodied at some point in the match that I missed, is like, I see you are also, too, a lady of good taste. And then Fallon just walks up to pass the thing. And so now Fallon Henley has turned heel. And now how do we turn a country girl heel, Kate? What do you do to turn a country girl heel? Can she wear black lipstick? Can country girls wear black lipstick? Oh, I know. She's going to ride in next week on a black horse.
Oh, well, here's what I think. She's
going to ride a black horse next week.
I think she's going to be a little bit country, but she's going to be a little bit rock and roll.
Oh, no, you can't be a little bit rock and roll if you're country. You can't do that.
I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. Why are you saving someone from a match if you are going to hate them just a few minutes later? That makes no sense to me at all. If I don't like you, I'm going to cost you the match.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to turn on you in that process. Not sure why I'm sacrificing myself to take a kick for you.
Yeah.
To then be mad at you later.
And I got kicked in the face while saving you from the loss.
That was a very weird
Here's what it is. They're very good from Mr. Darkay, who knows everything. She eats salsa from New York City. New York City. That is an old commercial.
It can't be that old because I know it, and I'm not that old, right?
But it's from the 90s.
That is an excellent.
That's a fantastic poll. That's a fantastic poll, honestly, Mr. Darkay.
Match was fine. I just don't understand why you save someone from the match to then lose.
Oh, timer chat. Jambeard says Fallon didn't turn heel, she turned hoof. Oh my God.
I turned to Thea Hale. She said, "Nay, I am not."
Uh-huh. Oh, that's some good stuff. Louise saying that Fallon better not wear goddamn black lipstick next week. Oh, she will. That's
Louise.
That's all they do that.
I've got news for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask Corey if he can get the scoop on it. Mm-hmm. Get us a brand.
So yeah. Whatever. We'll do it in order. So the Good Brothers are on SmackDown. I know because I saw them get drafted there. The Good Brothers are on SmackDown again, drafted to SmackDown. They are also in NXT, which shouldn't be allowed. I'm firm on this. I don't care if you're on NXT as long as you're only on NXT.
Sure.
You shouldn't be allowed to do both. So they are on NXT. They are facing in their debut match, which I'm going to call Team Tai Tai because it is Tyrick Igwe and Tyson Dupoint. So it's Team Tai Tai. They had a vignette, which is maybe some of the cringiest stuff I've ever. Man, we met in junior college. He lifts a lot of weight. I'm a nerd. It was like it's in no way helped their them. That was not a good vignette. It was not like he's like this guy actually says he's a nerd. I am a nerd and proud of it. Like the style of the acting was like a video like the troop of people who come to your high school to tell you not to do drugs.
Yeah, it was the DARE program.
It was the DARE program type of acting. Yeah. It was really like this guy. He went viral in a video where he threw a hammer. I did go viral. It was crazy. Like it was. Oh man, this was not good. This was not good at all.
People talk like human beings.
Just please let them talk like human beings.
Yeah.
You know what they can do, like superhuman beings, is wrestle. Because
holy hell.
There are Team Tai Tai, but they're also Team Bouncy Beef because these boys are big and strong, and they get up and down. They're Team Bouncy Beef. We have the Team Blurry Boys later, but Team Bouncy Beef, they're really friggin' good.
Yes, they are.
And they also lost in 4 minutes to the Good Brothers.
So at this point in the evening,
this is where the analogy that I'm going to use for the rest of the night, and who knows, probably for the next 6 months. This feels like 8th graders showing up at their old elementary school playground and pushing around the 5th graders. And it just feels icky to watch. Like, it's what the hell, man? And this just feels like this all the time. Every time I see this, it feels like this. And so, yeah, please don't do this with the Good Brothers. If they had a perfect opportunity to dovetail two things, which sometimes they're good at, most of the time they're bad at. They're doing actively a Idris Enofe broke a mirror and has 7 years of bad luck story. And they also currently need an established NXT team to do the job to the newcomers in this spot. Why would you not just have Idris Enofe and Malik Blade have a good, long, let's say 8 to 11 minute match with the new guys, and the reason that the established dudes lose is because Idris Enofe literally slips on a banana peel or whatever dumb thing, he steps in a bucket or something. I don't know, but he can't wrestle because he's got bad luck, and the new guys win. What you don't do is bring an established team from the main roster down to NXT, 20-year vets like Gallows and Anderson, and then just put them over the new kids in 4 minutes because it makes the new kids look like ass.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like they're developing, right? Like that's there's an inherent thing with NXT, and now there's an inherent thing with ROH that creates a barrier for me watching every brand under every product under these brands, respectively, right? I have an issue with Kyle Fletcher being the TV champion of ROH and taking 1 million losses on the main roster, and him being a champion in ROH that is supposed to be excellent, and feeling like this title is not his priority. When you send guys down from the main roster, especially as a part of the draft, because like Becky Lynch's run was good. I liked when the New Day came back before Stand and Deliver. Like, there are times where this works. But when you just have these guys who just got drafted to different brands come down and smush Team Bouncy Beef, that's an issue to me, particularly because all the creative we just saw before this, Alex, was chasing the wolf dogs, chasing the wolf dogs, chasing the wolf dogs, picking on them, disappearing for no reason, no creative reason, and then coming back just to pick on these guys after getting drafted to a main roster brand. So it's also handcuffed by the preceding creative and how bad that was and confusing that was.
So the only thing that saves this is if you have a long program-ish, at least a couple more matches with the kids beating the Good Brothers each match they have.
In which
Team
case
Bouncy
they are
Beef
an NXT
versus the Good Brothers.
team.
Right. But they showed up and were like, we're an NXT. And then they had more matches on the main roster. So you can't be in NXT if you're actively working the main roster. This just means that you don't have enough people in your employ to support 3 different brands. If you have to use the people you've sent to NXT because you don't have enough people, because you're bringing in all of these people who have no experience wrestling, so they take longer to train to be ready to wrestle, which is a thing you've decided to do. So in order to have enough people to support a full 2-hour show weekly, you need to bring down established people from the main roster to NXT, but you also don't have a big enough roster on the main roster to lose those people permanently to NXT, so now they got to pull double duty. And I hope they're getting a pretty substantial bump in pay for that, because if not, I feel like somebody should alert OSHA.
Well, I think the bigger issue is that that's not the case. Like, where's Cedric Alexander? Where's Apollo Crews? Where's Odyssey Jones? Where are all the people that you aren't using? And why aren't they being used in these roles is my bigger thing. I like the idea, and I understand that NXT is not like your other brands. It's this weird combination of a developmental and standalone brand. I understand they have a TV deal coming up where they're trying to bump ratings for CW. But, like, if the idea is, as it was explained to me, that this is supposed to be offset because NXT didn't get any draft picks, that needs to be creatively explained to me in some way. I get scrapping the free agents thing. It was awful. It did nothing for literally anybody who was declared a free agent. That was a disaster. This draft was much safer. It made more sense. It was less exciting. But there needs to be just Ava coming out and saying, you know what? We got call-ups. We didn't get to take anybody down. So I'm negotiating with GMs of both brands to have talent come down for a stint. That's it. That's all I need is some on-screen explanation that justifies why talent just shows up. And furthermore, we're going to talk about it later, but is just getting title shots is beyond me, especially because some of them don't even have made roster wins. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the biggest thing of all of this is, Alex, is that some people don't have so much bounce in their beef. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people's beef is a little flaccid. And sometimes you need a little help adding that bounce to your beef. We can't all be Team Ty. I wouldn't expect that of any man, honestly. So, you know, I'm just going to say if you need some help, there's somewhere that you can go.
Is your sex life stuck in developmental? Well, get ready for a call-up with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but how about this? No awkward in-person visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It ships straight to your door in a discreet package. But let me tell you, your package is not going to be discreet when you use Blue Chew, and the code FIGHTFUL helps give you that confidence, that performance to take you straight to the main event, if you know what I'm saying. When approved online by one of our physicians, it just arrives straight to your door. You're not going to have people nosing around with what you're doing. And right now, you get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Go straight to the top. You know what I mean. Memorable performance, high spot, you know, whatever other innuendos you can think of. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
It's good. I like that.
Team Bouncy Beef.
For the record, I am not against vets making the rookies look good and then beating them in a different context. You have done a lot to hype up this new young tag team that is an actual member of the NXT roster. And if you had them face another member of the actual NXT roster and beat them, then they would be on a trajectory upwards.
Sure.
They looked very good in the match.
But it was 4
and then
minutes, though,
it was
too.
4 minutes long. It was a 4-minute match. So the Good Brothers don't gain anything by beating this team of rookies.
Well, and Alex, the other thing was,
You know?
at this point in the evening, I thought, well, this is silly because certainly these guys are not going to be sticking around. They were just drafted to another brand.
Right.
Why are they winning
Yeah.
on their way out of here? That makes no sense. But it would seem as though that is not the case based on the rest of the creative that we saw tonight.
Right. No. Tom Valley says, when will Fally hoof on up to the main MANE roster? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Alpha Bill saying, hey guys, I want to talk to you about a cool thing called celibacy. That was the tone of that vignette. That was the tone of that vignette.
It did kind of feel that way as someone who was in Catholic school her entire life. That was not far off. Let's talk about natural family planning. Yeah, it had a little bit of that.
Ava comes to the ring and she talks about how there would be people left or whatever, and we got to do this thing, and we're going to do a ladder match to at Battleground to determine our new NXT Women's North American Champion. This is what she says. We're going to do this, and it was going to be a tournament, but then they lost 3 people who were going to go far in that tournament. They got drafted. Lyra Valkyria, who's no longer the champion, would have been in that tournament. I'm almost certain, and she would have won matches. Blair Davenport and Kiana James would have been my top 2 picks to be the heel in the finals of that tournament. They also got drafted. This is also a major reason why Fallon Henley turned heel, as they needed to rebalance the roster because they lost Kiana James and Blair Davenport, 2 of their best upper mid-card heel ladies. They need somebody to fill that role because they're overbalanced on the side of good girls. So they needed to figure out something. So they just said, I don't know, how about Fallon Henley should switch alignments nonsensically? You know what I mean? And so that's why they did that. And this is why they're doing this, is just to say, we can't run an 8-woman tournament. So we're going to find 6 to be in a ladder match. But here's how they're going to determine it. Next week, we're going to have a combine. And that will, she didn't say the top. She says the 12 women who impress the most. The 12 women who impress, I guess, me, Ava Rain, the most in the combine will be then entered into qualifying matches. And the winners of those 6 qualifying matches will then go to Battleground to be in the ladder match to determine the first North American champion. So this is how you know that it's just a bunch of college athletes, is we're doing a combine to determine who gets a shot at a title. How high can you box jump? How many reps can you do on the bench? Will literally determine whether or not you get a title shot. And I am not okay with this. I feel like that it's cool to oh great, like you want to do a little competition back and forth, see who sets the record in the performance center. That's fine. Everyone needs to train to get better at all of these things, to train your muscles to be better in the ring. But like, if somebody isn't that kind of wrestler, they're disqualified from this thing. If you can do that with this, you can do it with anything. And they're going to start doing it more and more, because I think they realize they have a lot more college athletes than they do wrestlers. And they're trying to figure out at least ways to use people to their best of their abilities currently.
So I love stakes. This is over over stakes. You're having stakes to get into the stakes. So I don't love that. And also impress the most doesn't mean the 12 best statistics. So that'll just drive me the most nuts because that's just like a thing for me. I do appreciate that they were like, look, we can't give you the draft, but we will give you this other NFL thing. You don't get draft picks, but the thing that happens before the draft, we'll give you a combine. I also think it kind of takes, I think what you're going to see is so-and-so was incredible. They were the strongest in this. And so-and-so was the fastest in this. They're going to break up Bianca Belair's EST into different categories as a way to showcase women, which isn't the worst, but it also just doesn't seem like you save that much going from 8 women to 6 women in a ladder match. Like you could have just kept the tournament. What's my thing?
You're gonna have 12 in this friggin' tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like so.
You got 12 for this combine.
12 in the qualifying matches.
So like you could have done a tournament, but I also get it. Like they lost a lot of valuable talent to the main roster very quickly. Former champion with Lyra, Kiana, Blair, like they lost some heavy hitters. So I get needing to rearrange it, but it just feels like they rearranged things to not that much more their benefit, which was weird.
Like I feel like if I actually looked at the NXT women's roster, I could easily pick out 8 women to be in a tournament, and you could just do it that way without all of this.
Sure.
Like even with the call-ups, because it feels like we have enough who've actually been characters on TV. And again, if you have 8 women in a tournament, 4 of those women are going to lose their first round match in probably under 7 minutes.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter. So instead of having the tournament where it comes down to the finals, we're going to be one-on-one, people who are trained and know what the hell they're doing having a 15-minute match. Instead, we're going to have 6 women with varying degrees of knowing what the hell they're doing in a ladder match.
Yeah, it makes me nervous.
In the biggest spot they've ever been in a PLE, the play. So the butterflies are going to be going. Who knows what happens? It's just a bad idea. I will see.
Ladder matches are just always nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Like with experience, but Jane Beer just said it perfectly. Soul, Thea, Jada, Fallon, Michin, Lola. Like there's so many people that I can name off the top of my head.
Right, no, but Kalani Jordan should be in there instead of Michin, who again is an 8th grader coming back to bully the kids. Unless she's doing an Apollo cruise where she comes to NXT for an extended run and she's only in NXT, because I do really love Mia Yim.
As do I.
I'm sorry. Like, and she has a great reason to be like, hey, if there had been a North American championship for the ladies when I was here, I would have held that son of a bitch. So I'm coming down here to get one. But if you're going to do that, I better not see any hide nor hair of you on SmackDown. I'm sorry that I really need this to be a thing. While you are in NXT, you're in NXT. And because there's a thing happening with tag stuff that just is boggling my mind. We're going to talk about that in the next match that happens. But like this, when they bring out Jada Parker, who says, I'm going to win the whole thing, and Sol Ruka says, I'm going to win the whole thing, and Ariana Venti lies and says, I'm going to win the whole thing, then like Mia Yim comes out and says, hey, I was just in the neighborhood, I guess, because you weren't drafted here. So there's really no reason for you to be. I guess maybe you showed up because you were tagging along with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
I was going to say, all my friends want to come back. Why can't I?
They got drafted to SmackDown, so they shouldn't fucking be here. It's just a dumb thing. So Mia Yim being in part of this is fun, but like she's got to do the combine to get in. She should be grandfathered in. This is fucking Mia Yim.
It's Mia Yim.
For? You know what I mean? Like Mia Yim is going to be the general in it. You're right, Jam Beard. Mia Yim will be the general in the ladder match. She will know what the hell she's going on.
And she'll be great at it.
The problem is they have to look at at least 3 or 4 women who are like, this is the first time I've ever seen a ladder. What do I do? And
we don't know that though, because even
we'll
though because
We'll see.
even Sol Ruka and
Yeah.
like she's been around there the longest, but she hasn't been anywhere near a ladder, I don't think.
Yeah.
Jada Parker, Ariana Grande, Ariana Venti, Ariana Grace. Yeah, they're all new at this, but we'll see how it goes. I like the idea of Mia Yim being back. I'm also of the belief that if she's going to be back, it would be nice if she was back. But my bigger thing too is I don't want to see the split personality stuff. Like Braun being like serious singles guy that spears people out of his boots on the main roster while being buddy cop making the Sun jokes that admittedly pops me as a tag team champion on NXT. That drives me even more nuts than them showing up on different brands. Is like you're a baby face here, and I think that was very symptomatic of the Vince era because Vince had people that he didn't even know what they were doing from week to week. So I'm more hopeful that there'll be some more consistency with it.
The greatest example of that was Robert Roode was the most vicious, disgusting, slimy heel everyone hated. Lost the title, got called up to SmackDown or Raw, was like, "Hello everyone, I am Robert Roode and I love everyone. I am the greatest, baby, love me because I am such a friend to all mankind." And it was completely whatever.
It's when you're working both brands, it drives me even more nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's like now you're two different people, but in real time.
Yeah. Street Profits meeting with the Blurry Boys, Axiom and Frazer. And Street Profits again, like I guess they're not wrestling, but
no, I don't have a problem with that. You're just like
they're just hanging out. They're showing up. Okay, fine.
I loved Montez being like, "I watch every Tuesday." I thought that was cute.
Yeah, sure you do.
What?
Whatever. It's like whatever. I thought that was just a bit much. Ridge Holland beats Shawn Spears with a rampage. Like I guess she's not using it anymore, so why not?
Sure.
It works for him, but okay, so he beats Shawn Spears. And everything's good now. This storyline doesn't make a lot of sense to me, coupled with some backstage stuff. First, we got Ivar sitting at, on the trainer's table, and Double Vest comes in, only wearing one vest, just not living the gimmick at all.
Shameful.
And he's like, "Hey, I mean, come on, protect the business, buddy." And these kids today.
I only wear two vests to the ring.
But he's like, "Hey, Oba hits pretty hard, huh? It's a good thing that I'm cleared now, so I'm the only guy who can beat him." And Ivar's like, "I'm not done with Oba yet." And then Wesley walks in and was like, "Hey, everybody, how's it going? You okay? Cool. Anyway, just looking around because I've never been here before, even though I spent years in this building." He was a weird thing. He was like looking places. I don't know what it didn't. It was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. He didn't know what to do with his eyes. His eyes were just looking everywhere in there.
It's going real good.
But he's like, I'm gonna come after Oba Femi. He's like, "No, you don't get to walk in here after 5 months and just cut me in line." Like, that was disrespectful, but okay. I'll just have a match with you. I'll beat you for a chance to face Oba. It's like, "No, you won't. I'm gonna beat you next week." And then he leaves, and Ivar's like, "I'm not done with Oba. You got drafted to Raw. Stop it! Stop it! Are you on NXT or are you on Raw? Because you can't. I'm sorry. Please tell me they're not doing both, because it really just makes me so angry. I don't know why, but I can't. And then Thea Hale comes in, like she got like one forearm shiver, and she's selling that eye forever. And so then another backstage thing is they're going like, why does everybody turn on me? Everybody doesn't like me.
Why is she the sting of NXT? She's perfectly fine.
Why does everybody turn on me? And then Duke Hudson, hopefully signifying that he's about to leave the gang and go and lead the no quarter catch crew. He's like, they're there, Thea Hale. Everything will be all right. I was like, you're insincere. You're about to leave. And Andre Chase goes over and talks to Ridge Holland like, hey, I also have battered personal demons. Let me tell you about a rad dude named Jesus. Like, it was this really odd thing where he was just like, I don't know what you were like. I too have battled personal demons. You know who else battled personal demons? A guy named Jesus Christ. Like, it just felt
What a rad dude named Jesus.
It felt a lot like that to me. I'm sorry. And Rich is like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Anyway, so it's like, is Ridge Holland going to join and become, like, I don't know, the chancellor of Chase U? Is he gonna, like, I don't know what was this signifying, that like that Andre Chase thinks Ridge Holland is a good dude, so we should also think he's a good dude? I mean, I don't know.
So the storytelling has been chaotic with Ridge Holland. And you could tell because the crowd's reaction wasn't consistent today.
Right.
We get some really weird pacing in wrestling in general, but definitely at NXT, where he was like, I'm retired, I'm back. I'm my own man. JK, Shawn Spears is here and he might control me, but maybe not. Like, it just got so it felt like very expedited for some reason. And last week or 2 weeks ago was the most I ever liked him. Like, I thought that match was really good. The slam on the outside was one of the cooler spots I've seen in a long time. But then he just kind of beat Shawn Spears, and it felt like there was no heat. Like, there was no tension that really got built out. So that's kind of a bummer. And the crowd, I think, is just confused about, like, wait, are you a heel because you have uncontrollable violence, or are you a face because you, like, they don't know what to do with it right now.
Cruz del Toro he was on Raw. The LWO got drafted Raw. He's there with all of them. His arm is in a sling. That is an unrelated injury, I can only assume, in actuality. However, the kayfabe thing is he got his hand slammed in a door by Ridge Holland, which broke his entire arm. Like, he's not a good dude. He's prone to uncontrollable fits of rage, which another guy who is canonically prone to uncontrollable fits of rage is Andre Chase. So honestly, maybe, like, that's a thing. Maybe they find a little synergy there. I don't know. I'm not sure. So let's do some puns because I need to laugh. Ian R says Taffy Team 2000.
Wonderful. Love it.
Ian R also says Zach Skittles Jr.
Wonderful.
Meet Normus says Luke Gallows' favorite candy. Nerds!
See, that's very good, but that should be on Monday night, that joke.
No, it should. Ian R says Bam Bam Big League Chew.
That's very good.
Bam
Team Big League Chew forever. Give me shredded bubble gum that loses flavor in 12 seconds. I'm in.
And also conjures up thoughts of tobacco use for children.
Yeah, but like in a fun way.
No, but like all of my favorite ball players use tobacco. And I want to be just like them, so I'll practice by using this gum.
We also had candy cigarettes. It was not great, but it was also the best.
Jambeard says Kit Kat Wilson.
That's very good.
Chris Burra says Everlasting Gobjobber, which is my favorite one.
That's very good.
Yeah. C. Delgado says Big Papa Rocks, Scott Steiner.
Very nice.
And ENR says Twix Williams.
Twix Williams is really good.
Ian Sir Clever Tegan Knox Pun says Tegan Pop Knox.
Very nice.
Chris Pereira says Smarties Mark Sterling.
Love that.
Jambeard says Lou Gallow's favorite candy is nerds.
Nerds.
It's a good joke. It's a very good joke. Meet Norma says Braun Jawbreaker.
That's very good.
And Caramello Hayes. Ian R says Heath Bar Slater.
Very nice.
Ricardo says CM Big Hunk. Wasn't Big Hunk just like nougat? Just like really hard nougat?
It was, right?
There was some weird, like, I never saw anybody buy a big hunk.
No, I don't think anybody intentionally bought one.
ENR says Caramello Hayes. Nox Pun says Tegan Dots. Tegan Dots.
Remember dots? Did you have those?
Oh, I get them all the time.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're gumdrops. Yeah, they also usually come out with cool, like, holiday versions of them. ENR says it's ring pop.
The amount of times I proposed.
Louisville says Juji Fruits Guerrera, but it should actually be Hoogie Fruits. Hoogie Fruits Guerrera. Hoogie Fruits. Oh God, I love Hoogie. Chris Pereira says Big League Wendy Chu.
Very nice. See, Big League Chu's a legend.
Big League Chu, yeah. Jambeard says Samzuka Joe. Bazooka Joe.
That's very good.
ENR says Airheads of the Table.
Wait, I don't get it.
Head of the table.
Okay.
There you go. Airheads of the table.
Fair
ENR
enough.
says Hubba Bubba Ray Dudley. That's very, very good. That's very, very good. Chris Pereira says Candy Cane.
See, Kane ones are hard because I just can't stand him so much,
Yeah,
but it's a very good pun.
Yeah. ENR says Zack Sabre Jr. Mints.
Chocolate covered mints, dickheads.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Jambeard says the envelope that Lash had came from Maury Povich. Well, that's just a misshelved.
Yeah, that's not a pun, but that is
not a pun.
That's absolutely what that felt like.
We assume that. Yeah. Ricardo says Darby sings that is a jukebox. That one, so you could move that one to a jukebox.
Luis,
2 in a row. Insert clever Tegan Knox pun says fun Fetigan Knox. Chris Burra says Caramel Coleman.
very nice.
Harvesterian says the Bang Bang Sour Candy Gang.
Guys, speaking of banks, I have to apologize. What is happening?
They're
too long.
You got to go and get
I gotta go get them cut.
You know what you should do while you go there? Ask for the Braun Strowman. It's
not so much.
All the kids are doing it, I hear.
Not so much with the Braun Strowman hair for me.
Alpha Bill says Saltwater Taffy Team 2000. ENR says Tootsie Mars Dove Kinder TMDK.
Very nice.
Longtama Valley says Reese's Heritage Peanut Butter Cup with the chocolate on the outside.
That's as God intended.
Yeah. Chris Pereira says Oreo Mensa. Oreo Mensa.
I love
that. Jambeard says that's a different thing. Hold on. No, hold on. I'm gonna move that one. That's not where that belongs, but that's okay. It doesn't make a lot of sense because Booker T doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. So I'm gonna leave the rest of those puns because we got some more. You guys are gonna give us more. We'll do some more later. Roxanne thinks that Ava has it out for her.
Yes.
And told Pierce and Aldis not to draft her. And Ava's like, champions are locked to their brands. You weren't eligible. And to that I say, somebody should have made that clear. That the reason that all of the champions in NXT weren't drafted is because they were also locked to their brand. And which was not ever communicated during the draft. So
I assumed so because all the other champions were, but then Booker T actively said on Raw.
Yeah.
Maybe Roxanne or
maybe Roxanne and Trick Williams will be, which yeah.
But I just usually assume Booker T doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right. So
I'm right 70% of the time.
She leaves. And I wanted you to come and talk with me about your next challenger. And then she leaves anyway in a huff, and she opens her door, Ava, and peeks in and says, "I'm sorry, we'll have to do this later." She left. And so you retweeted a tweet by Ava that just says, "At Roxanne, believe me, I so wish you had gotten drafted," or whatever. I want Twitter Ava to be the GM on TV. Yeah. She's hilarious on Twitter.
She really is.
And we don't see any of that on screen.
We don't.
And I feel like use that. Let her be snarky. They're letting Nick Aldis be snarky with his people. Let her be snarky to the people that she's in charge of, because she's in charge. She get like, well, you don't like it, tough. Like, there's some good stuff you can do with the version of Ava we see on Twitter, which means that's coming from her brain. She's tweeting it. It does feel like they're just giving her a script to recite, and she's not good at that part. Let her just riff more as herself, and there should be some stuff.
We did get a legendary eye roll from her today that I very much appreciated when Roxanne was talking to her. It was the same eye roll I gave to my parents when they were saying something sensible to me that I didn't want to hear. It was very relatable. But yeah, even when Ava was in a cult, her Twitter was hysterical. So yes. I hope they let more of her personality shine through. I understand, like, she's also a very young GM, so maybe they're trying to keep her feeling authoritative, which I like, but her personality when they let it shine through was great. And she is a riot on Twitter. She's very, very funny.
Louise reminding us that she did say womp womp 2 weeks ago.
So she did say womp womp. We're getting signs of it. We're
getting there. We're just steps, baby steps. So Tony D is being chauffeured around the city by Stacks with Luca and Big Ange in the background. And Big Ange refers to somebody, an interior designer called Long Face Danielle. And now I need to see a picture of Long Face Danielle. I need to know how long her face is, because it's really good. That's a really good name for somebody. Long Face Danielle is a wonderful name for an interior designer. But basically he just like, hey, I need you. Hey, Stacks. He's a sex goes, what about me, boss? Is there anything I could do for you? Yeah. Give me film of every Heritage Cup match. If I'm going to be taking this title off of that guy, I got to know how these matches go. And so now I just need him to like never have watched it and just crowbars all the time. I mean, no, actually what I need him to do is to be like the greatest technical wrestler ever, because I think he's better there. So yeah,
this was super fun.
This was fun.
I'm going to put it in the chat again because it deserves to it. Luca Crucifino at crucifinolaw.com is unreal. Unreal how much work got put into that.
Yep.
She's forever Big Ange, but I would love to see we have Luca Crucifino's website. I would love to see the stylings of Miss Longface as well. I need her portfolio so bad.
Longface Danielle's going to do the interior decorating of the restaurant, is what we hear.
It's going to be great. I can't wait to see it.
The Blurry Boys face the Authors of Pain, who are there with, like, there's a whole, like a promo cut by Paul Ellering about how the Final Testament is going to destroy all divisions throughout all WWE. Like, they got drafted to Raw. They're not allowed to be on SmackDown too. Like, just, they are actually. That's the problem. Is that, Kate, I don't know if you know this, but tonight we watched them have a match for the NXT tag titles. And on Friday, they are facing in France another team that also got drafted to Raw. Correct. So there are two Raw tag teams having a match on SmackDown in France before they then fly back to Hartford to be having matches on Raw. And they both appeared tonight on Tuesday. And I just feel like you need to be paying these people overtime. Like, they're all, do they not have days off now? Like the same, they're like it's built into your contract the time that these are the days we expect you to be at house shows, and these are your travel days, and these are the days you get off. But if you're doing all three brands, that feels like it's a completely different thing.
Well, hopefully that's just for a week, because it's one thing to not have the rules apply to NXT because they're developmental brand. It's another to not have them applied to the two brands that we're drafting all the talent. So hopefully that's just for this week. But part of the reason last night's episode was so frustrating, I talked about it on the main, was like it was a go home and a draft episode. The amount of stuff you can't do is really tough because you're going home to a pay-per-view and you're resetting your roster. So, but it is, you did use NXT to set up a main roster story entirely, which you can't tell me that's you're not sending down main roster talent to develop NXT talent if the talent are barely involved. If it's just a catalyst for main roster.
Oh my God! This is the grind that Will Ospreay was running from. He had very good reason to run from this grind.
Smart man.
Because you got to fly to like some.
Especially the way Ospreay wrestles. He's like, I can't take a brain buster into the turnbuckle 3 times a week.
No.
I can't be hidden blading people 3 times a week.
No,
it's too much.
So during this match, Team Blurry Boys versus the Authors of Pain. To start off this match, Vic Joseph says, and I quote, "These champions are excitement personified, but they better have a bag of tricks here tonight." And then Booker T says, "Oh, sledgehammers." And Vince says, "What is this? What are you talking about? Are you talking about your episode of Treasures that you're doing this weekend? Quick, agile, mobile, virtual towers. Stay on your bicycle, guys." And Vic is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
you turned into Louis Armstrong at the end of that one, which was really, really fun for me.
That's what he says. Like,
what
it's
a
so weird.
World.
But like, oh, sledgehammers. I don't know what that is.
Also, in the women's match, he didn't know who Jacy, Jayne, and Gigi Dolan were.
He did not know.
He just mixed them up.
Jambeard also says that I should say it as so I was Butters. Oh, sledgehammers.
Oh, sledgehammers. I can do an all right Butters.
It's pretty good.
That's way.
It doesn't quite have the same ring as "aw hamburgers." "Aw hamburgers" was
hamburgers.
Like, I gotta teach my daughter to like say "aw hamburgers" when she's mad about stuff.
Oh, hamburgers.
Because instead she says the thing she hears Daddy say when Daddy gets mad, and those are bad words.
That's not good. I can't wait for her to not know what she's talking about, but be ranting about brand splits someday. No clue. Never watched wrestling.
Or brain splits. Either way.
There was a Shibata joke in there that I could not find, but you definitely
this match was fun. AOP smashing them all over the place, and them trying to use speed to work. And then they ejected Karrion Kross and Scarlett and Paul Ellering, and using that confusion, the New Catch Republic shows up and attacks them. And so cheats on behalf of these other guys that they also know, so they can retain their titles. Axiom wins with a friggin' schoolboy on a guy who outweighs him by 175 pounds. You couldn't find a better way for them to win? Like, it was, come on.
No, he pinned all that weight onto himself.
Okay, so anyway,
I did not like the start of the match. I will say that. The dive. I was like, this is not a tricks contest. That was the old NXT back in the way, way, way days. But Alex, I gotta say, if you were like, Kate, who do you think is gonna show up?
Right.
I wouldn't know who to tell you. I would be so uninformed when placing that bet. I wouldn't even know what to think. But I'll tell you what I would know, and that's where to go.
Yep.
And that is Bet Online.
Hey guys, I'm here to tell you about betonline.ag, the official betting partner of Fightful. It's not just an online platform. They've been trusted for over 25 years. They boast a focus on the player approach and have built their reputation on offering their clients nothing but the best, from cutting-edge technology to enticing promotions and the latest sports betting odds. Whether it be wrestling, MMA, boxing, or football, baseball, basketball, or racing, anything you can think of, all major sporting events are covered by betonline.ag. Fast payouts, highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, safe and secure online environments, and their live betting feature allows you to bet on your favorites weekly and easily and in real time. betonline.ag. That's where we're going at Fightful. That's where we suggest you go as well. That's where we get all of our odds at. betonline.ag. Only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly.
That was good. That was a good segue. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So yes, AOP unprovoked attacked New Catch Republic on SmackDown, and then later that night, a match was made for the next SmackDown, which happens to be in France. So Bate and Dunn get to go to France to beat AOP. And instead of just getting their revenge in that match, they decided to fly to Orlando on the way to France, because why not? And stop them from winning the titles. I always feel like if they win the titles, good. If you beat them, challenge for the titles. Like, do that. I don't know, but it's fine. It's whatever. I just feel like we're telling the story across 3 brands now. And listen, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus AOP are going to give us some great matches. Big asterisk if they are allowed to, because it's possible the match we see on SmackDown is 4 minutes long, if that. So, but if they're allowed to be given time on Raw to actually have good matches, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne versus AOP is some classic black and gold shit that you could get me seriously involved in. I just don't know why we got to tell the story across all 3 brands. Just pick a brand, tell the story on it.
Well, to drive you crazy. But I agree.
That's usually why they do that.
Yeah. Also to make you do this, because it's fun.
Yeah. Edison Ofei backstage seems like he's fine. Brindley Blade was very worried for him because, 7 years bad luck because he broke a mirror. And Brindley Reese comes in and says, hey, I know how to fix everything. I got some black cats. She brought in literal black cats, kitty cats. And he's like, oh, no. And he runs away. And they're like, oh, I never thought about it. Black cats, bad luck. You know how you could have told this exact storyline better? By having Anderson Ofei and Malik Blade in a match with Team Tai where they friggin' lose to Team Tai. Like Brindley Reese showing up and being like, hey, guys, I went to the pet store and got these black cats. She would do that in the middle of the ring because Brindley Reese doesn't know boundaries. But like in the middle of the match, she would like walk in and go, hi, guys, I got these black cats. Look at these black cats. Aren't they cute? And Anderson Ofei's like, oh, no, bad luck. And he turns around directly into whatever finisher Team Tai has. And then, like, the bouncy beef bounces their beef all over him, and they lose. And it's a much better way of doing both things at the same time than an awkward, poorly acted, sorry, guys, backstage segment and a match where Team Tai loses their debut match.
I also feel like it makes Brindley Reese look like an idiot, because I think most people immediately associate black cats with bad luck.
Yeah, they should.
You should be a little more sensitive to the fact that this guy's worried he's cursed already.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe think it through, Brindley.
NXT Underground, Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler versus Natalya with Karmen Petrovic. I didn't think about this until I sent you guys a voice memo in the DMs. Why isn't it Karmen Petrovic with Natalya in her corner? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that what we should be doing with Natalya if she's going to be a mentor down there, is to actually mentor and try and make Karmen Petrovic better? If you're going to have Lola Vice win the match anyway, you have her beat Karmen Petrovic, who listens to Natalya but isn't quite as experienced as Lola Vice. And then you do that. It's weird to me that we're just having that it just felt so odd that it's that you reversed it. You have like one NXT talent versus a main roster talent, and like Natty, who's literally, she's called the Boat, she's the Moat. She's had the most matches of all time. So like with somebody who's that experienced versus Lola Vice, who is very talented but not nearly that experienced. She is an MMA or whatever, but like it just feels kind of like it's weighted to one side, which is why I keep using the analogy of the 8th graders coming to pick on the 5th graders, you know?
That's fair. I think it's gonna get to that, right?
Well, I mean, I guess.
I would assume.
I'm assuming, like, if this continues, and there's no reason to think it won't, Shayna Baszler probably beats Karmen Petrovic because, listen, I mean, Shayna Baszler shouldn't be losing to Karmen Petrovic, but that kind of sucks for Karmen Petrovic. So, like, I mean, this all has to eventually lead to Karmen versus Lola one-on-one, with Karmen somehow beating Lola. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the NXT Underground format is fun and everything.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Some weird stuff where, like, Shayna just comes over to check on Lola, and Karmen runs up from behind her and gives her a forearm to the back of the skull out of nowhere. Like, Shayna wasn't doing anything. So Karmen decided, I'm going to get involved here, which then leads to Shayna getting in the ring, onto the platform that has no window.
To the mat.
And getting immediately disposed to the outside by Natty. And then Natty putting Lola in the sharpshooter for what seemed like hours. And then Shayna putting Lola in the Kirifuda clutch and like baiting Natty to come out, which Natty did, and then immediately throwing Shayna into the barricade. Like everyone got the better of Shayna like over and over again, which is a giant red flag to me because Shayna should be getting the better of other people.
I think she will. I think she's going to beat the crap out of Karmen Petrovic. Yeah. I loved the Kirifuda clutch spot. And also the little vignettes that we got to set this up were probably some of the better vignettes on the show. I felt like, particularly Lola saying, I don't need to worry about her submissions when I have the fastest fist in the game. Shayna's reaction, I thought was so just like these dumb kids. It was so good.
Yeah, honestly,
I loved that from her.
I wouldn't mind seeing Shayna versus Lola come out. Yes, and if you're going to put over Lola there. Like, I don't mind Shayna losing to Lola because I feel like you're really pushing Lola, which would be good because I think she deserves it. Maybe that's something that comes out of this. I almost felt like they were going to get to that point where like she was trying to raise Lola's hand and Lola was like, don't raise my hand. I must shake my butt. and I thought Shayna was going to be pissed about that, but instead she was like, these kids and their butt shaking. I mean, it's the TikTok. It's got to be the TikTok.
I must shake my butt.
Listen. I just sometimes I put narration over things I watch.
No, and I wish it was the thing that they would say a lot of the times. It's my favorite part. Yeah. But also the dance. Your dance was really
like you could interest the hell out of me in this. Shayna versus Lola, NXT Underground at Battleground.
Battle Underground?
Sure. Blunderground? That doesn't sound good.
No, that sounds like a terrible match happened.
Shayna on Twitter about Lola Celebration. I will let her have her moment. Before I pounce! I don't know. Something I don't know. She didn't say that, but yeah. Natty getting out of the ring to save Karmen Petrovic, easily disposing of Shayna, which is just laughable, and then walking back into the ring to a spinning back fist. And then she drops, and then Lola's raining down elbows. But Natty is covering up. And to have the ref stop it when Natty is clearly defending herself. Like, I don't know how you make it safe, but the reason why in a UFC a ref will stop it is if the guy's not defending himself. He's so dazed, he's out of it, he can't defend himself. Okay, I got to stop this. But Natty's like covering up. She knows what she's doing. And I felt like that was...
That's fair. That's a very fair criticism.
It was weird. Yeah.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Oh, this is you, Alpha Bill. You never saw our movie review?
There's a whole podcast out there, my friend.
Oh, that's me. I can't do it. I can't watch it. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, Booker T told Vic Joseph that Ederson and Malik are about to get fired because of their bad luck when they just released a few people like
Not
last
great.
week. No, not great. Don't
Not
do
great.
that.
Not great.
To cap off their show this week, they had Roxanne in Ava's office. Like, what did you want to talk to me about? I want to talk to you about your opponent next week. Next week, I spent my title last week. What are you trying to do to me? She's pulling an MJF. What are you? What are you? What are you? What did he say that? What are you, a psychopath? He said a pervert. I didn't know he said it. He said something. Something like he said something like when he was forced to defend his title more than once a month. I believe MJF said, "What are you, a pervert?" Something like that. So like it's Chelsea Green walks in. Who? Listen, I love Chelsea Green. I think she's amazing. She's so talented. She never wins matches. I don't think she's ever won a singles match in NXT, in WWE since she's been back. I don't know why are we giving her a thing. Also, she says, I think I'm going to like it here. Are you here or are you on SmackDown when you were drafted there with your tag team partner? Now, this is another thing that I thought that like everyone, apparently not Ava, but like Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce both have basically told Chelsea to her face, I hate you.
Yes.
I don't want to have to deal with you. Why did then Nick Aldis draft her to SmackDown? You should have her be almost not drafted. Or maybe they're the only people who don't get drafted. And Piper's like, what the hell? It's like, well, I would have loved to have you on the roster, Piper, but I can't take Chelsea with you. I can't do that. I can't have her around me. And then that makes Piper pissed at Chelsea, and Piper knocks out Chelsea, and Piper then signs a contract with SmackDown because she's a solo artist, and then we can have Piper Niven solo run, and then Chelsea shows up in NXT and says, Ava, you like me, don't you? And I was like, I have no problems with you. Like, great. Can I stay here? You have a nice pull-out couch over there in the office, right? Like where she's glomming on to Ava, and Ava has no problem with her until Ava does have a problem with her, and then there could be fun stuff here for this. Like if you're going to have Chelsea in NXT, and I think she will be a great addition to the actual permanent NXT roster, then there was a way to do that if you guys think more than 24 hours in advance, but they don't.
They did tease this on social media a lot, which I give them a lot of credit for. Like one thing that Chelsea's incredible for is you give me she makes some chicken salad with fantastic dressing and whatever out of some real chicken shit. Like, hey, you won the titles, but your tag partner's injured. I'm still gonna make it entertaining. Hey, you have the tag titles, but you get 4-minute matches and they're never really defended. I'm still gonna do it. You're getting squashed by Jade Cargill. Everyone's going to be talking about my facial expression. So she's incredible at that. And I give her a lot of credit for teasing these interactions with Ava because they've been doing that for a solid week and a half or so. So I think this was the plan for a little bit. But you're right in that, like, is she coming down just to lose to Roxanne? Also, they're both heels. So
Chelsea's a very different kind of heel than Roxanne.
She is.
Yeah, she stands no chance, particularly because they did a backstage segment like social media video where she's now reuniting with the world's greatest manager of absolute losers, Robert Stone.
I actually appreciate that they at least did that. But my point being, like, is she coming down just to lose and then going back up to the main roster? Like, what does this look like? I do think... Roxanne
says won't lead anywhere, but Chelsea met with Stone in a Twitter exclusive. Yes, it will lead somewhere. Hopefully, I don't know, for a week, and then Chelsea will be on SmackDown.
I will say Roxanne is settling into a new character. Chelsea is one of the strongest characters that they have. Not the world's worst pairing from that respect. Not at all.
Jambeard telling you, Kate, that Luke Owen did some math for you after Raw. Candice and Maxine had 5 matches against each other. in different variations, totaling 12 minutes.
I will say that is extremely low, but at the same time, a lot of those I felt like actually suited the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with short matches if they suit the story.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those ones did. And Maxine's too green to wrestle really long matches. She just is.
Mm-hmm.
And Candice did a good job telling her stories in what should be a short time frame,
right.
but that is extremely low. Well, the golden
okay.
rules. I love him so much.
We will finish out these puns. Electric Mayhem says, jelly belly to belly suplex.
I would have even taken jelly to belly.
Me Norma says, Gushers, the official candy of the BCC.
That's
Electric Mayhem says, Abba Zabadon.
What candy is that?
Abba Zaba?
I don't think I know.
It's like a weird, like a honey nut nougaty thing. The what I know it from is it is the candy that Beetlejuice offers to a fly in Beetlejuice, and the fly wants to eat it. So it must be good.
I have a sister named
Flies are notoriously picky eaters. So Chris Pereira says King of the Ring Pop.
Very good.
And Chris Pereira also says the Tic Tac tag team.
That's excellent.
Mark Adamek says Butterfinger Poke of Doom. That's top on my list so far. Chillish Mayhem says Fun Dip Sabian.
Very good.
Atomic Gumdrop. And Haribo Dallas. And ENR also says it's a Tic Tac tag team. ENR also says Lexus King sized Snickers. How did Lexus King get a front row seat in the draft party?
I told you it was the slidey chair privilege.
But it wasn't, because I went back and watched. He was not sitting in the slidey chair. Patrick says, Adam Cole, payday. Jambeard says, Mr. Good T-Bar.
Very nice.
RJA says, Swerve Snickerland.
Very good.
ENR says, this one's obvious. Well, it's not that obvious. Nobody else did it. All of the fans of Christian. His peeps.
Oh, very good.
ENR says, it's a new payday. Yes, it is.
Very good.
And ENR also says, Rolo Bafemi.
That's really good. And thank you for getting Oba Femi in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there was a QR code, which was, he says, we are family in the QR code.
I got all my sisters in me.
No, if that's Bo Dallas's new entrance music, it's better than Def Rebel. I'll say that much. Okay, Jukebox. It's actually. No, I'm sorry. I should have done this 20 minutes ago. Tom LaValle says Tiffany is going to sing "It's Gonna Be May."
Oh my goodness! I get it because it is.
Yeah. So.
I made what I thought was a very funny joke that nobody laughed at. In that I said, I can't believe it's Mai Akiyama. And nobody laughed. Because I don't think enough people know who Jun Akiyama is, which is another issue.
Which is another issue, a separate issue.
It is. You might have been hurt, babe. That ain't no lie. You've seen them all come and go. I remember you told me that you believe in no man, no cry. And maybe that's why every little thing I do never seems enough for you. You don't want to lose it again, but I'm not like them. Baby, when you finally get to love somebody, guess what? It's going to be me. It's going to be May. Toodles.
Yeah, I feel like if the lyrics were get to love someone, then it wouldn't work because it doesn't rhyme with May. Get to love somebody.
Yeah, I got it, Alex.
I just thought it was funny.
I corrected myself.
Yes, you did. Braun sings Tutti Frutti by Little Richard. Braun Strowman to sing Tutti Frutti.
I'm so glad he's back.
By Little Richard. There we go. Wop bobble bobble bam boom. Tutti Frutti all Rudy. Tutti Frutti all Rudy. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. A wop babaloo bop bam boom. I got a girl named Sue. She knows what to do. I got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. She rocks to the east. She rocks to the west. She's the girl that I love the best. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. Bop babaloo bop bam boom. Got a girl named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. Got a girl named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me. Yes, indeed. Boy, you don't know what you do to me. Tutti frutti, yo Rudy. Wop babaloo bop bam boom. Get these Tutti fruities.
I'm so glad he's back.
Louisville.
I want him to come to NXT just for the impression wheel.
Louisville says Regal sings Reproduction from the Grease 2 soundtrack. I don't know this one. Hold on, here we go. William Regal sing Reproduction. The parts of a flower are so constructive that very, very often the wind will cause pollination. If not, then a bee or any other nectar-gathering creature can create the same situation. Yes, anything that gets the pollen to the pistils right on the list to try to make it crystal clear. A flower's insatiable passion turns its life into a circus of debauchery. Now you'll see just how the stamen gets its lusty dust onto the stigma and why this is frenzied chlorophyllus orgy. Starts in spring is no enigma, sunshine. We call this quest for satisfaction a what class? A photoperiodic reaction. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good. Man in the Mask.
I was going to say that was for Excalibur somewhere.
It was for that. Okay. Ricardo says Darby to sing Candy Girl by New Edition. Get well soon, Darby Allin, who decided to do a suicide dive into a bus.
He was already on crutches is the messed up part.
Yeah. All right. My girl's like candy, a candy treat. She knocks me high up off my feet. She's so fine as can be. I know this girl is meant for me. Her name is Julia Hart. Candy girl, you are my world. You look so sweet. You're a special treat. Candy girl, all I want to say when you're up with me, you brighten up my day. Julia Hart. You make me feel so good. The way you walk and the way you talk. You always look so good. You make me forget my thoughts.
I think your microphone switched, Darby.
Did it?
Oh, there you are. It got weird there for a second.
It did because the stupid ads autoplay, and so there was a bunch of loud music in my head.
So much funnier. Darby Allin just did a normal conversation. It's so good.
All right, that's done with that. Okay. Tiffany to sing Mamma Mia by Hugel featuring Amber Van Day. I know this as being ABBA. I did not know there was a different Mamma Mia.
Nor did I. Buy me Prada, Balenciaga. Love the drama. Let's go to the Bahamas. Private jets, go cash my checks. Turn up the party in your Ferrari. I'm not going to read the chorus, but it's A's and T's. A's and T's, A's and T's, A's and T's. I will do the second verse because the refrain is not readable. But bang, Gucci gang. Bang, bang, Gucci gang. Diamonds on me. Miss Champagne Poppy, rocks on rocks. Get what I want. He said, love me. I spend his money. Refrain I can't say, so toodles.
Good. Louisville wants Braun Strowman to do I Want Candy. Oh, no, a girl who's soft and sweet. She's so fine, she can't be beat. Got everything that I desire. Sets the summer sun on fire. I want candy. Dun, 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 dun. I want candy. Dun, 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 dun. Go to see her with her hair hung down. Ain't no finer girl in town. Candy's just what the doctor ordered. She's so sweet, she makes my mouth water. I want candy. Dun, 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 dun. I want candy. Ding, 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 ding. Get these candies.
It was beautiful.
And Mr. Banana Head says, seriously, this show brings me joy each week.
Oh,
In honor of Braun's new haircut, can we have Braun do a rendition of Ruth's monologue from the last picture show? Is it? Oh, okay. Oh no, the page you were looking for in this blog does not exist.
oh no.
It's the last picture show, and before I go, I should go to the barber and get a haircut. Hello, yeah, could you just take everything off the sides and then shave it back so it's like 3 inches higher than my forehead? Leave the bald spot, that's important. And everything in the back where it just flits out like a weird ducktail, you can also leave that too. Thank you very much, Mr. Barber. I'm going to the last picture show. Good.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And explains a lot, honestly.
Thank you, Mr. Bandana Head, for being so amenable. Okay. Ricky Rainbow.
Wait, isn't there another one?
Yes.
That's not how we usually end, is all.
No, it is. We just haven't had that guy in a while.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Ricky.
Tom LaValle wants Ricky Rainbow to sing Candy Girl by New Edition, which is a song that Darby Allin sang a little while ago. I hope there's no ads that get in the way this time.
I hope not either, but you're a different type of cat. I would be not very surprised if you had different challenges than ads in your performance.
My girls like candy, a candy treat. She knocks me high up off my feet. She's so fine as can be. I know this girl is meant for me. Candy girl, you are my world. You look so sweet, you're a special treat. Candy girl, all I want to say, when you're with me, you brighten up my day. All I know when I'm with you, you make me feel so good through and through. The way you talk and the way you walk, you always look so good. You make me forget my thoughts. Do you really love me? Do you really love me? Don't you really care? Don't you really care? Do you really need me? Do you really need me? And will you always be there? Thank you.
Who's your candy girl, Ricky? Is it a
Um,
nose candy girl?
well, yeah, I'm trying to remember her name. Long face Danielle.
Is she an interior designer by chance?
She is. She designs the interior of my nostrils.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Hold on. Just a second. I want to make sure. Okay, good. Right. Well, somebody else wants to come and do one, so I'm gonna go.
Oh, karaoke night here. Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
it's me. Yeah, I've been so long. I haven't been around. I've been doing other things. I've been doing lots of stuff, but
What
I'm
have you
here.
what you been getting into?
This mostly just the canasta. We're having a canasta tournament.
How
We
you
thought
doing in
we
the
were-
canasta tournament?
we-
Did you
we
have to do
thought-
a combine to get into the canasta tournament?
We had to do a combine. There was lots of shuttle runs and squat thrusts. A lot of squat thrusts. Mostly squat thrusts.
Was there a 6-point drill?
There was a 6-point drill.
Mhm.
There was a lot of presses, a lot of different kind of presses, a lot of box jumps. We got a lot of box jumps. So that's right. So hold on. Lieutenant Colonel Photo sent in one and wanted to say something. I'm gonna read it for him. He sent in one. He said, salute to the SGS. I won't be in the chat tonight because I'll be driving from North Carolina to Connecticut. I remember that drive very well from back in my making towns days.
North
But I will be
Carolina.
I will be listening. Oba versus Ivar was awesome. Wes Lee returning was very much needed. Dedicated to the thesis, the ghost of Dusty Rhodes, or the dust of Ghosty Rhodes. It is the first. It is the former. Sings Taylor Swift, So High School. So here we are. Taylor Swift, So High School. It was a long time ago for me, baby, but here we go.
What's the name of the song again?
So High School.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I feel so high school every time I look at you. If I want to find you in a crowd, just to hide from you, if you will, and in the blink of a crinkling eye, I'm thinking our fingers entwined, cheeks pink in the twinkling lights, daddy. Tell me about the first time you saw me. I'll drink what you think, and I'm high. From smoking your jokes all damn night, the brink of a wrinkle in time, baby. Bittersweet 16, suddenly, I'm watching American Pie with you on a Saturday night. Your friends are around, so be quiet. I'm trying to stifle my sighs because I feel so high school every time I look at you. But look at you. Are you going to marry, kiss, or kill me? Kill me. It's just a game, but really, really, I bet not all three. All three for us two. Got my car door, isn't that sweet, daddy? That's sweet. Then put me to the back seat, baby. No one's ever had me, not like you, daddy, if you will. That's right. I'm not going to do the whole song, though.
No, that was beautiful. It was so high school.
That's it. That's right.
My God. It was beautiful. Thank you for sharing your gift with us.
You're very welcome, baby. I'll go, hold on. I'm getting called back to the graveyard.
Oh, okay, bye. It was good to see you.
What happened? Somebody hacked into my internet, and I don't know
God.
what
That happens to Alex all the time, too. Dusty just...
Oh, man, it's
the Forgotten
honestly,
Sons could never with this hacking.
Did they do hacking?
Did they do hacking?
The
Wasn't that a
Forgotten
part of the-
Sons?
Didn't they do a hacker thing?
Weren't they a biker gang?
Didn't they do a hacker thing at the end, though?
The Forgotten Sons, starring what Jackson Riker? Did Jackson Riker strike you as a guy who's good with computers?
Didn't they turn it into a hacker thing right before he got released?
I feel not. I feel like no.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
I feel like you're confusing him with the hacker who was later revealed to be Mustafa Ali.
No, there was another thing.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Right. All right. Well, keep cool, Gabagoos.